What's up, you guys? Teddy Striker here. In this video, I want to give my predictions for some fights on UFC 310. Usually, I only talk about the fights on the main card, but there are some fights that are on the prelim that are fight night headliner worthy or main card worthy, but they're not on there. But I will be talking about them and giving my predictions for those fights. But with all that being said, let's get right into it and make sure you guys tune in Friday to see my prediction for the main event. But the first fight I want to talk about is Randy Brown versus Brian Battle, and I'm going to be going with Brian Battle. I think that these guys are right outside the top 15 in the welterweight division. They're both really good fighters, fun to watch, but I think that Brian Battle is constantly improving between his fights. You see a different version of him. He's getting better. He's getting more comfortable and getting more cage time, and I think that in this fight, he is going to win by a decision over Randy Brown. I think he is going to be able to close the distance, land some good shots on the inside. I don't think he'll get a finish, but I think he'll win 29-28 unanimous decision. Then we've got Evloev versus Aljamain Sterling, and I like Aljo, but I'm going with Evloev. I think that he is going to be the better striker. I think that he's going to be able to defend the grappling of Aljamain Sterling and also punish him for going for those takedowns, because Mauser, I feel like if he does get the opportunity, he is going to look to establish some type of control on the ground with Aljo. I mean, Aljo, he shot 20 takedowns against Peter Yan. He only got 2. But those 2 were very significant, right? Because he got a 10-8 round out of one of them. And then the other, he was able to just control Peter Yan with his back control. But in this one, I think that Mauser is going to make Aljamain Sterling pay with some ground and pound. I think that he's going to make Aljamain Sterling work his way back up instead of just breaking free as soon as he defends a takedown. But overall, I see this fight. I think that Mauser is going to be controlling the grappling exchanges. He might get some takedowns on Aljo, but I think that this is going to end on the feet. And for some reason, I see Mauser catching Aljamain Sterling with a clean flying knee that drops him and then leads to a TKO in round 2. I like Aljamain Sterling, but I don't think he is winning this fight. This is a very tough fight, but yeah, I think that Mauser is going to get his first finish in the UFC. Then we got Vicente Luque versus Gorimbo, and I think that Gorimbo is going to win this fight. I think ever since that brain surgery Luque has had after the Jeff Neal fight, I think that he hasn't been the same, and I don't think he should be fighting anymore. He looked completely different against Joaquin Buckley, but I think that he should retire for his own safety. And yeah, I think that Gorimbo could potentially get a finish over Vicente Luque. I think it's probably going to be in round 3, but yeah, I think that Luque shouldn't fight anymore. Then we got Dominic Reyes versus Anthony Smith, and I think that Dominic Reyes is going to knock out Anthony Smith in 1 round. Dominic Reyes is really good, and he was on a 4-fight losing streak, but all those guys, they hit like trucks. Yuri Prohaska hits like a monster. Jan Blachowicz, legendary Polish power. And then you had Ryan Spann, who also hit like a truck. And obviously he had the quote-unquote loss to John Jones. I think that he had beaten John Jones. But it is what it is. I think that he's very skilled and he doesn't have to worry about that massive power threat from Anthony Smith. I think that he's got good takedown defense to avoid getting on the ground. He was defending all of John Jones's takedowns, and I don't think that Anthony Smith is going to get this fight to the ground unless he gets dropped. But I think that Dominic Reyes is going to snipe him with a clean left hand and then finish him off with some ground and pound. I think that Anthony Smith should retire after this fight. And I mean, you got that gig at ESPN, so just, you still got a way to make money, so it's all good. But yeah, I got Dominic Reyes by first round KO. Then we got Nate Landwehr versus Choi, and I think I'm going to go with Nate the Train here. I think that Nate the Train, he's very tough, he's very durable, so is the Korean Superboy, but I feel like he's near the top 15 level. Obviously, he had that loss to Dan Ige, but I think that he is maybe top 17 featherweights in the world, and I think that he is just going to be in better condition in this fight and just outwork the Korean Superboy with his grappling, his striking, and get himself a decision victory. Then we have Bryce Mitchell versus Gracie, and I don't know why this fight is on the main card, but Bryce Mitchell is going to destroy Gracie. I think he's a far better striker, and he's got great grappling to defend any attempts from Gracie. And that style of Gracie is just so outdated. It's 2024. It's not 1994. But I think that Bryce Mitchell is going to win himself a 30-27 unanimous decision. But then moving on, we got Ciryl Gane versus Alexander Volkov. And I got my guy, Ciryl Gane. They had a close fight back in 2021. I think Ciryl Gane won 3-2. It was very close. Like, Volkov was actually pretty competitive. But I think that Ciryl Gane is the best striker in the heavyweight division. I think he is the fastest fighter in the heavyweight division. Yes, even faster than Tom Aspinall. I think that if Ciryl Gane ever fought Tom Aspinall, he would beat him. He would finish him too. And Volkov, since their first fight, I'd say maybe he has gone a bit better, but I'd say Ciryl Gane has gone a lot better. He went out there and he had to finish a guy like Tai Tuivasa, and he just brought the dog out. And I think that's the difference with Ciryl Gane then and Ciryl now. Before, he was really content on just point fighting, but now you can see he's starting to sit down on his shots a lot more. He's going for devastating body shots to sort of break down the tree from the bottom and working his way up. And I think that he is going to do something similar to Alexander Volkov. I don't think he'll get the finish because this is a 3-round fight, but I think he's going to put on a dominant performance against Alexander Volkov. He's going to be working from the southpaw stance a lot, and I think that he is going to be snapping Volkov's head back for 3 rounds and get himself a unanimous decision victory. And then we got the co-main event, Shavkat Rakhmonov versus Garry for 5 rounds. And I am going to go with Shavkat Rakhmonov to get a finish in the 4th round. I think that Garry, he might have success with his leg kicks a little bit, but I think that Shavkat has improved. Obviously, like a lot of people are saying, he struggled to take down a guy like Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, but Stephen Thompson knew that Shavkat was going to be grappling him. He didn't expect Gilbert Burns to all of a sudden become a crowd sniffer when he's been knocking everybody out. He's striking with Tyron Woodley. He's striking with Kamaru Usman, and all of a sudden, Gilbert Burns puts on his wrestling shoes against Wonderboy. Of course, Wonderboy is easily going to get taken down by Gilbert Burns. And then Bilal Muhammad, Bilal, he had been striking with Leon Edwards. He was striking with Damian Maia. And then with Wonderboy, all of a sudden, Bilal's a D1 wrestler. And he didn't get the finish. Shavkat, he did struggle, but he eventually got the finish on Stephen Thompson. And also, the striking, we haven't seen too much striking from Shavkat, I can't lie. But I think that Garry is going to be very open to those big right hands. He was open to those against MVP a lot. It didn't really take that much for MVP to land clean on the chin. And I think that Shavkat is going to be landing those right hands. He's going to be putting pressure on Garry, working the body. And again, Shavkat knows that Garry can be knocked out. Shavkat knows that Garry can be hurt because someone in that gym, Sanford MMA, was able to flatten Garry and shut his lights out cold. And I'm sure that person, if it wasn't Shavkat, they're probably going to tell him, hey, this is what you got to do against this guy, XYZ. And I think that Shavkat is going to be taking advantage of that. Whereas Garry, he doesn't really know that Shavkat can be hurt. He's going to have to go out there and prove it to himself. And ultimately, I feel like the pressure, the grappling, the powerful striking from Shavkat, it's going to be too much for Garry. And I think that Shavkat Rakhmonov is going to drop and finish Garry on the ground via strikes in round 4. But let me know your predictions for this card. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you guys tune in Friday, and God bless.